There are moments in history when politics stops being just another debate and start becoming something much bigger that we don't even expect. So today is one of those moments. A sitting United States senator didn't just simply criticize President Donald Trump. He made one of the strongest political accusations you can possibly make. So pay attention to this. He said Donald Trump is the biggest threat to United States of America. Think about that for a moment. Not America's biggest political problem. No, he's not telling that. Not his biggest opponent, but the biggest threat to the entire country. So when someone holding one of the highest offices in the world, in America, says something serious, it's worth asking one simple question. Why? What exactly is Donald Trump doing that made Senator Chris Murphy use such powerful words against him? And is this simply politics, or does Murphy genuinely believe America is heading towards a very dangerous turning point? So let me break this down so you can understand very clear what's really going on behind the scenes. So first, let's understand where this all started. During an interview on NBC's meeting with Press Democrat Senator Chris Murphy was asked about the current political situation inside the Democratic Party. And instead of focusing on local elections, Murphy immediately shifted the conversation towards President Donald Trump. That was a very weird thing. And he argued that the biggest issue facing America isn't individual political candidates. No. According to Murphy, the biggest issue is Donald Trump himself. So Murphy claimed that Trump is attacking the foundations of United States of America's democracy and weakening public trust in institutions that have existed for generations and generations. That's an extraordinary accusation, what he's making, because he's not talking about disagreement over taxes or probably like immigration or illegal immigration or inflation. He's talking about the country's democratic system itself, totally on a very raw thing. Now, why does Murphy believes that? His biggest concern centers around elections. Murphy argues that America already has secure elections and that there is no evidence whatsoever of widespread voter fraud occurring on a national scale. Because of that belief, he says many of Trump's claims about election security creates unnecessary fear among voters. Murphy also criticized Trump's support for the SAVE Act. Now, supporters of the bill say it would require proof of citizenship when registering to vote and would strengthen election security totally. But look what Murphy said. It is very differently. He argues that the legislation could be used to make Americans question future election results and increase distrust in the voting system. In Murphy's view, once people stop believing elections are legitimate, democracy itself begins to weaken totally on the other hand. That is the core of his argument totally. Now, on the other hand, Murphy also accused Donald Trump of repeatedly attacking institutions that many Americans have traditionally trusted for years and years. And he also pointed to criticisms directed at judges, federal agencies, the Justice Department, and election officials. So according to Murphy, when a president constantly tells people that these institutions cannot be trusted totally, eventually millions of Americans may stop believing in those institutions altogether. Now, once public trust disappears totally, replacing it becomes incredibly difficult. So Murphy believes that this erosion of trust is more dangerous than any single political policy, because democracies depend not only on elections, they also depend on citizens believing those elections and institutions are legitimate totally. Here's where the story becomes much more complicated and very weird. Trump and his supporters completely reject Murphy's arguments. Now, they believe Murphy has it probably backwards. Republicans argue that questioning election isn't an attack on democracy. They argue it's actually protecting democracy. So for Donald Trump's perspective, election security is so essential. Supporters says requiring a proof of citizenship helps prevent illegal voting, increases confidence in elections, and protect the right of legitimate American voters. That's what they claim. Now, they also argue that criticizing government agencies or Justice Department isn't destroying democracy at all. They see it as a holding powerful institution accountable totally. So depending on which side of the political divide you are standing on, the exact same action are interpreted in completely different way. Now, that's why this thing has become so explosive everywhere online. This also explains why American politics feels so divided than almost any other time in recent decades. Many Democrats genuinely believe Donald Trump represents a serious danger to democratic institutions. Many Republicans genuinely believe Donald Trump is trying to save those institutions from corruption and restore public confidence totally to 100%. So notice something interesting here. Both sides believe they are protecting America. That's what they believe. But they completely disagree on what America actually needs protection from. That makes comparison incredibly so difficult, because when each side believes the future of this country is at stake, every election starts feeling probably like the most important election in the entire history. So Murphy's comments also reveal something much bigger than one interview alone. Political language in America has become dramatically stronger over the last several years. Like years ago, politicians usually described opponents as mistaken, right? Or probably an incentive. Now, we're hearing the words like threat, the danger, democracy, authoritarians. So that is crazy. These are no longer just ordinary political disagreements. No, these are some massive words. They're warning about the future of the country itself. That tells you how high the political stakes have become in the United States of America. So the conclusion, the bottom line, what I think, whether you agree with Senator Murphy or whether you agree with Donald Trump, one thing is impossible to ignore here. America is becoming more politically divided than ever. One side believes Trump is defending Constitution and protecting elections integrity. That's what they believe. On the other side believes those same actions risk weakening democratic norms and public trust. That divide is shaping almost every major political debate in this country, and perhaps that's the biggest story of all what we are hearing. Because when millions of Americans no longer agree on basic facts about their own government, political disagreements stop being just an argument. Now, they become battle over the future direction of the nation. Only history will determine which side was closer to the truth. But today, one thing is very certain. The political fight surrounding Donald Trump is no longer just about one man. It's all about two fundamentally different visions of what America should become. And that debate isn't ending anytime soon. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think, where these things are going and where America is heading? Is it declining or going in the right path? I want to know your opinion, and don't forget to subscribe and stay up to date for more and more fresh updates. Thank you. See you in the next update.